About death, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Okay, so let's talk about death and comic books. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. It's really grinding my gears. I think it's an important topic that we all need to discuss. I'm Michael Troy. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe. Totally need it. Totally appreciate it. Thanks. Anyway, all right. So death and comic books. I think this started out like it's been bothering me for a while, but because people were talking about Black Widow, like questioning whether it was successful or not, like maybe what was good, what was bad, what went wrong. And one of the things that struck me is that I have zero desire to see it because she died. They killed her off in Endgame, and we know this character arc, how it's going to end. Like, if they wanted to give her a solo flick, they should have done it before they killed her. I know it's very fashionable to kill characters. I know that Endgame is like sort of, I don't know, the biggest, culprit of all. Like, back in the day, like, okay, so a little history on the death in comics. And I think Marvel is particularly bad about that, and I'll get to more of that in a minute. But back in the day, like, when the Dark Phoenix saga, she became evil. It was kind of unprecedented to turn a character on a team full on evil and then, have her be so irredeemable that really death was the only answer. And legend has it that, they kind of they didn't really want to kill her. They changed the ending. But Jim Shooter had read the part where Chris Claremont had her wipe out a planet of, a billion souls or whatever, the asparagus people. So then it was mandated that she must die and to pay for her crimes, which I always found kind of weird because so much for the insanity defense. If you're not in your right mind and you kill someone, like that's usually not great, but at least it makes you less responsible. So I guess if you're being possessed by the Phoenix Force, which, the Shire Empire totally put her on trial for that. And, was it her fault? I mean, she was possessed by, this evil Phoenix Force. And furthermore, another problem with comics, they made it all moot when they brought her back to life and explained it away that it was never really Jean. She was always sitting on the bottom of Jamaica Bay. And this was just a replica of Jean going around causing tomfoolery and wiping out planets and populations and everything like that. So, it starts to all get muddled with that. So then, if they just kill that clone, then, that's fine, whatever. It's not the real Jean. We can bring her back when we feel like it years later. But then it sort of ruins all those stories that, so ever since X-Men 101, it's not really Jean. So any interpersonal relationship she had, like with Wolverine, like what's Wolverine got such a mad on for, some replicant clone or whatever. Anyway, I feel like I'm diverging. But so anyway, because of everything she did, they had to kill her. And it wasn't super popular to kill characters at that point. I know that's hard to believe given the state of comic books these days. But, so then we had the death of Captain Marvel. And the interesting thing about that is that, that story supposedly remains relevant because Captain Marvel supposedly, and we're talking the original Captain Marvel, Marvel, he is related to Carol Danvers somehow, but this is like the original male Captain Marvel that they killed in the first Marvel graphic novel by Jim Starlin. It was epic, sweeping. I think he had cancer. So that does make it a little more of a compelling story. And one of the justifications, or they say why it's still relevant, is because he was kind of a boring character, so it didn't really matter that they killed him. And I have to admit that I do take issue with that, because it's like, if the character is boring, is it the character's fault or the people who are writing him's fault? So anyway, they killed Captain America. Or no, they didn't. They killed Captain Marvel. Phoenix is dead. So somewhere along the lines, probably in the 90s, that was when it was happening. The death of Superman. Batman had his back broken. Wonder Woman got killed. They just started killing people left and right. And because, it just adds so much gravity to the story. And, oh, you'll enjoy the story more if there's a bigger threat to your characters, then they could actually die, sort of the benchmark of the ultimate universe or anything like that. And honestly, I just want a good story. I think that killing characters is bad writing. First of all, these are like huge franchises, multi-million dollar, if not billion dollar making properties, at least in the movies. I don't know how much the comic book companies actually reap the benefits of that. But, they realize that if they kill them, they can't kill them forever, because you can't just leave Batman dead. I mean, what are you going to do? Stop making money off of, like, your biggest franchise? I don't think so. I mean, sure, they put, like, Nightwing or other people in his place, but it always comes back to the status quo, and that's part of the problem as well. It's like, they're just going to change it back anyway, so why bother in the first place? I mean, it really doesn't matter. It takes away any sort of emotional impact. If I see there's, like, here comes the death of Doctor Strange, I think, which is kind of like a the end story, so I'll allow that a little more. Like, if you're saying, like, this is the last story of this character, you're not just saying, I'm going to kill them in continuity for a sales spike and then bring them back a year later, 6 months later, when a new creative team comes on. I'm like, sorry, but the concept of death is so watered down. And I will take it a step further and say that it has been watered down to the nth degree in the X books. And this is sort of me talking peripherally, because I can't even swallow reading any of the current X books. I know that's not a popular opinion. People love Jonathan Hickman. They think he's better than sliced bread or canned beer. He walks on water. I mean, oh my God, he got to the X-Men to the Met Gala. How exciting is that? And of course, now they're killing frickin' Scarlet Witch. And this is where I think I found out about it, because the council or the whatever, on Krakoa, they have files of mutants, so that if one of them dies, they can just resurrect them now. That is the ultimate revolving door, and it makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. It's like, so is Marvel just like a universe of the Walking Dead, the undead just walking around? They've all been dead, or they could be dead, but don't worry, they'll be resurrected, they'll come back, it's no big deal. I just think it's super annoying. I mean, does anybody see, like, the ultimate, like, value of these kinds of stories? Because I really don't. It just seems like a gimmick, a cliche. It's like, kill your character, bring him back. It's like, it feels like a crutch. It's like, be a good writer, tell a good story. It's like, you cannot tell me that, definitely standing on the shoulders of many great artists, but Stan Lee never ran out of stories. I mean, he created all these characters, all these different branches of the Marvel Universe, and, I think it was a long time coming and many stories told before he would even consider killing off one of these beloved characters. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if it makes sense to the story, sure, if it's a natural progression. I mean, I feel like, in defense of killing Phoenix, there was probably some justification. She needed to pay the price for wiping out a population. But once again, it wasn't really her. I mean, so what is it? Was it her or wasn't it her? So either way, the replicant was killed. She's been killed and brought back so many times between her and Donna Troy from, DC Comics Wonder Girl. They have like a turnstile revolving door action on death, and just, I don't know. I mean, I just think that's a bad message to kids. I don't know. It just takes away sort of the impact of death, and, I feel like in society, like I'm going off on a crazy tangent here, but, we are in a situation where, a lot of the vitriol and division and hatred in the country is because we are lacking empathy. And I just think that sending the message to young readers, although are there any young readers, have the comic book, fanship is, middle-aged men. I'm one of them, so I'm not judging, but it's a bad message either way, that death is inconsequential. It doesn't matter. I feel like you're trying to make a grand statement by doing this awesome death story, but at the same time, you're telling people that my great grandstanding story is completely irrelevant because they're going to be back in 5 minutes anyway, and death is not a permanent thing in comic books. So I know I'm not the only person who feels this way. I know that this is a trend that probably isn't going to go anywhere. But I feel like another point, like another example is like WandaVision. Okay, so, WandaVision, how can they do this? Vision died. Well, Scarlet Witch brought him back to life. And if she could do this the whole time, then what difference did it make if he died in the first place? Why not just bring him back the minute it happened? It's like, I feel like they're like, oh crap, we killed everybody, and like, now we have to figure out how to bring back the ones that we still want to use, because whatever. I'm like, so what? Like, okay, I guess killing Captain America, like, I don't know, that was stupid. I don't want him to die. It's fine. He's done a bazillion movies. Chris Evans, he wants out of the contract, whatever. That's fine. Pass this torch on to Sam Wilson. I think that's awesome. I love him as Captain America. But why does he have to die? I don't know. It just seems like, in my mind, it just sort of makes characters weak and irrelevant. It doesn't make me just like hold them more near and dear in my heart. It just makes me think, oh, they're dead. Whatever, move on. I know that sounds unempathetic as I ramble on about all this stuff, but those are just few of my thoughts on death and comics, why I think it's terrible, why I think it's a trend that is so stupid and so needs to stop. And the mutants need to not be able to resurrect whoever they want, whenever they want, because that is just ridiculous. And it gagged me to hear that. So please share your thoughts with me in the comments. How do you guys feel about death in comics? Do you think it's as dumb as I do? Is it ruining comics? I feel it's not necessarily ruining comics, but it's a bad, bad trend. I mean, I guess it started in the 90s and it's not going anywhere. But yuck. Like, stop killing your characters. Just find writers who can tell good stories about these beloved characters. If the most interesting thing about a character you can come up with is killing them, maybe you're in the wrong profession. All right, that's all I got to say. Like I said, please subscribe. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right, take it easy. Bye.